Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the After Hours Gaming League Season 3. We have some exciting matches for you tonight. Tonight, it's going to be Intel versus Zynga, and we have some power players in both of these teams here in the After Hours Gaming League. A little bit of a history before we go into the games, but first, I want to introduce my co-caster tonight, Tara Babcock. Tara, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing absolutely great. Thank you for the introduction there, Dr. Zealot.
Well, thanks for joining us. We're going to have so much fun casting this tonight. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to casting with you. So, actually, let's go ahead and go into the game.
Let's do it.
Agenda says, good luck, have fun. It is going to be Intel versus Zynga, and we're going to start out with everyone's favorite classic map here from Wings of Liberty. Of course, Heart of the Swarm is, or rather, the After Hours Gaming League is cast in Heart of the Swarm. So you will see all sorts of new units, new features, such as the little workers indicator above the Nexus there. I love that so much, Tara.
Me too. I love it a lot. I love a lot of the changes that they have for Heart of the Swarm thus far. Like actually putting the workers to work on their own. So you don't have to worry about any of the splits. You don't have to worry about all of that variable that you have there, which is kind of a nice thing, as well as the workers on top of the Nexus and the hatches and all of that. So let's introduce the players, shall we?
Oh, absolutely. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss representing Team Intel. He is Agenda.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner is ShamWow, the red Zerg player representing Team Zynga. And we are going to have a pretty awesome ZVP today. A lot of ZVPs and a lot of ZVZs. I don't think there are any Terrans in either of these teams, Dr. Zealot.
No, this is lots of Zerg and lots of Protoss here tonight. You know, I have to say, Tara, you being Tara the Terran, I'm a little disappointed not to see any Terran come out, especially because Terran is still very strong in Heart of the Swarm. But either way, we'll see some great matches tonight.
That's true. I mean, at the same time, you get a little sick of playing and seeing the race that you play constantly, so it's a nice, refreshing little change of pace to see Zerg and Protoss.
The Overlord for ShamWow now cleaning his way slowly across the Protoss base, saying, guess what? I don't need any microfiber threads in order to see you. I'm an Overlord.
Absolutely. And the Forge is going down. It had just finished for Agenda. Looks like he's putting down a photon cannon, soon-to-be expansion there at the natural.
Absolutely. The photon cannon is going down. Meanwhile, we have Zerglings coming across the map right now. Looks like they're going to take control of this Zelnaga watchtower. You're going to see the probe in the middle of the map, but going straight for the natural here. They'll reach that natural, but the photon cannon is already complete. The gateway very close to completing. It looks like a fast expansion it is for Agenda. And these Zerglings are going to have to go home. They may be able to do a little bit of harassment here on the mineral line when the eventual transfer of the probes happens here in a minute or two. But until then, these Zerglings, the only thing they're going to be able to do is just kind of hang out here in the natural.
Yep, Dr. Zealot. It was a very nice catch of Agenda to see with his probe that those Zerglings were coming up, but he had already blocked off and was ready with that photon cannon and everything. He does not want anything going into his main base. And it looks like ShamWow is going to go up and try to get into the base, but he is blocked by a couple probes there, which is very nice. Very nice move by Agenda.
Yeah, I love seeing that kind of move, especially from Protoss that are transferring their probes to the natural. It's a good timing window to kind of block any sort of vision into your base and really just prevent any sort of strategies coming out of the Zerg player. And we did, ooh, interesting. We had a extractor cancel, maybe trying to trick his opponent into thinking that it was going for tech when really he was going for this hatchery here at the third. ShamWow playing some mind games here with our Protoss player already.
Yes, ShamWow is trying to hide that he is doing an extremely macro-heavy game here. He's being very greedy, and he does want his opponent to think that he's doing something other than that so that he can be safe earlier on in the game.
Now, one thing I really like about Agenda, the way he's expanding here is he's expanding very safely. He has now 2 photon cannons in the natural, and that's just to really help him prevent any sort of run-bys. Like if Zergling speed gets up too soon, then maybe he can just sit back and relax. He doesn't really have to do anything. But oh no, Bob the Zealot from Agenda here. Some nice micro coming out here from Agenda as he tries to get as much damage done with this Zealot, but the Zealot is gonna die. Meanwhile, our Zerg player ShamWow is going to go across the map. He needs to keep tabs on what his opponent is doing.
Absolutely. Agenda's first robotics is going down, and it was kind of sad to see that that Zealot ran up there and did see that he was taking a really fast third. And on this map, on Antigua Shipyard, it actually is pretty easy for the Zerg, or pretty much any race, to take that third expansion, because it is right there. Those 2 ramps are just so close to each other. You can protect really easily and just kind of be greedy on this map.
Some Zerglings from ShamWow are going to come in here and do just a little bit of harassment on this assimilator, but the Stalker is already out. The Zealot is already out here for Agenda, and in fact, he's going to go ahead and push that Overlord away from the natural expansion. Now, Zerg actually getting some really good information with the Overlord here in the main, seeing all of the gateways go up here in the main, and the robotics facility is chrono boosting out, making anything out of it right now. What is Agenda's next move going to be?
I have no idea, Dr. Zealot, but I'm really curious to see. ShamWow knows everything. He has that Overlord in the base. He has these Zerglings coming in and out the natural. He knows that there is no third. He knows pretty much everything that is going on with his opponent. And it looks like he's dropping a macro hatch down here in front of his, or in between his natural and his third expansion. And he's got a Roach Warren. I mean, he's just really being really greedy at the same time, trying to get these upgrades here.
Yeah, this is one thing that we've seen players do in Heart of the Swarm is they'll actually drop their macro hatch between the third and the natural, and that way they can cut a little bit of corners. They don't have to make an extra queen, and then because they don't have to make that extra queen, they don't have the creep tumors available, so they go ahead and just drop the hatch. That gives them a little bit more mobility between their bases as they go ahead and macro up. Now the Protoss player, he's starting to get some scare units here. He has Immortal on the map, he's got Sentry on the map, and of course sentries in Heart of the Swarm do not have to restart Hallucination, so we may see Hallucination coming out here pretty quickly just to see what's going on. The Overseer is going to see some more gateways going down in the natural expansion, but not much more. He won't be able to confirm anything else in the main at the moment, but nothing else going on with the Protoss player at the moment. It looks like it is going to be a Sentry Immortal push, Tara.
Yep, and at this point, I don't think Agenda cares what ShamWow knows or does not know. He's ready to move out. He's ready to use these sentries and this little ball of things to go over there and just attack. He's being a little bit hesitant, and as we can see, ShamWow is putting down the spines. He's getting defensive. He's getting ready to combat this little army that Agenda does have.
Now, typically for Sentry Zealot Immortal pushes, you do see this push out maybe about, well, this time. So it looks like Agenda wants to go ahead and make sure that he can take his third if he wants to take his third. But I reckon that he might actually attack with this, and here he goes. He's going to push across the map. The probe will soon to follow. Here we go, this probe. We'll call this Johnny the Probe. So Johnny the Probe is going to move out. And this is a surprising number of sentries. Oh my goodness. Look at that. That's 12 sentries on the map right now.
That is a lot of sentries, Dr. Zealot. Is he going to try to use force fields to kind of just like block things off and have map control and the control and the... Oh my god, there's an engagement here in the middle. Excuse me. It looks like all those lings are going to be cleaned up by the army of Agenda. And I think he's just going to keep pushing off across the map with the rest of his army, catching up with those few sentries and immortals that he has already at the base of ShamWow.
Yeah, this is a really deadly push because it's going to be hard for the Zerg to get a surround on the Protoss army. These Immortals just rip through the destructible debris there at the third, and now they're going to tear down these spine crawlers. The Zealot's taking all the damage. There are enough sentries on the map that he's going to be able to just throw force fields down these ramps all day long. And does the Zerg have enough units to be able to combat this? No, he doesn't, but meanwhile, the Mutalisks are in the main. They're cleaning up everything.
Very nice play with the Mutalisks. I mean, ShamWow has barely anything. He was playing very greedy, and I don't think he was expecting to have such a big army come in his front door at this moment. But I do think that the Mutalisks will be able to pick off a ton of probes and just do a lot of damage in the main, but I don't know if it is going to be enough here.
Yeah, we're in a weird, very strange base trade style situation here, Tara. ShamWow taking a beating. He does have a giant line of spine crawlers here in the main. He's making even more spine crawlers. He has a number of Zerglings and Mutalisks as well. Meanwhile, these Mutalisks are, for our Zerg player, have decimated Agenda's resourcing capabilities. He's mining only off of one base right now. And Agenda says GG, ShamWow wins the game.
Amazing game. There was a lot of tension building up there, that's for sure. Waiting to see who is going to strike first and how hard. This is a really, really cool match there, Dr. Zealot.
Yeah, it's both players' builds seem to finish at the same time, and their execution happened at the same time. As soon as the Zerg player saw that our Protoss player was moving across the map, he knew that he needed to go for an attack, and it actually turned out and worked out for him.
Yeah, it was great timing there on those Mutalisks and everything, but the Protoss player just had too much and was going to be able to win that base trade for sure.
Now, our next match is going to be Game 2, of course, versus with ShamWow, or excuse me, with Intel versus Zynga. We'll be right back after this very short break.
See you soon.